Hello, and thank you for being here. It's been a long week. It's been a long couple of weeks. I'm seeing a lot of folks who are just exhausted and just having a real hard time. And I'm seeing other folks who are just thriving. And so, know that we're all exactly where we're supposed to be right now. And that when we focus on the right things, we get carried to new places. I think that this time of the year is particularly difficult. We're having a lot of things coming up to the surface and being asked to be looked at. Is that something we want to carry forth? Is it something that we're ready to heal and let go of, or at least begin to look at? That can be really hard on folks to have all those old wounds come up. And of course, life doesn't stop and let us just sit down and work through all of it, especially this time of year, graduation, kids getting out of school. It's getting warm outside, and you got to start those outside projects and work in the garden and plant the flowers while you're still working and doing all the other things that need to be done, and investing in our own healing and taking the time to be still and to listen, to reflect, to notice how we're feeling and why we're feeling that way. Those things are sometimes hard to figure out how to fit in. But what I discover more and more with every cycle, whether it be a short moon cycle or a whole year, the more that I'm able to slow down and begin to implement these things, remembering to breathe when I'm feeling stressed, remembering to put my feet in the grass when it's been a long day and I just need to ground, remembering to take the time to be still and quiet. It's not just those things, though. It's also looking at why you're procrastinating and how much stress that might be causing. Beginning to look at plans that didn't work out and deciding if you want to revamp those plans or throw them away and start from scratch. Deciding what the next 6 to 8 weeks look like can sometimes just be overwhelming. Sometimes it's better not to plan. Sometimes without a plan, we get so lost and confused. What's the right answer? There doesn't seem to be an always right answer. And I think as humans, that's so much what we strive for. We just want to do it right. The ego wants to be right. What if I would have done this instead? What if I do this instead? Obviously, what I do is going to have a different effect, and so how can you tell me that it won't? And shouldn't I worry about it? And shouldn't I be paying attention? And, well, yes. Yes, we should be paying attention. Should it be stressful? No. Stress should be a signal to slow down, to notice, to understand what we're resistant against. Anxiety is another signal that we sometimes misinterpret. Anxiety says, something's coming up and I'm not prepared. And so taking that moment to ask yourself, is this true? Do I need to prepare more? Or do I need to just simply accept that I've done enough? And again, there's no right or wrong answer. We can never know if we did it right. The one thing that I am noticing is that the more I show up and make a decision, the better things seem to turn out. There were so many years in my life where I just avoided and thought, it'll work itself out. And certainly it did. But I find the things that I am the most stuck on in my past are those things that I just let work themselves out. I didn't make a right choice or a wrong choice. I didn't make a choice. And I'm now beginning to face the feelings that I have for not using my creative ability to make a choice for myself and instead allowing the cards to fall where they are. I think that there are times and places, again, that letting things work themselves out is definitely the answer. But I also think that there are times that we use this as an excuse to not do the things that are going to make us uncomfortable. How do we know the difference? By sitting with it, by asking ourselves. Sometimes the only way to know is trial and error. I think that that's a part of the human experience, and that often we have to do it wrong in order to know how to do it right. And we're so resistant to that, creates so much stress. And in that stress, we find ourselves exhausted. I think that no matter where we find ourselves right now in this moment, it's very important that we're paying attention. If we're feeling great, then we should pay attention to what's bringing that about. And if we're not, then we need to also pay attention to that. How are we investing our energy in a way that's bringing those great results? How are we investing our energy in a way that's bringing great disappointment? Are we investing our energy at all? Or are we just sitting back and holding our breaths and clenching our jaw and hoping that things are just going to work out? Things will continue to move. They always do. Do you want to be a part of that movement? Do you want to be a part of the creative process? Or do you want to just participate in the result? And if you're choosing to only participate in the result, don't be angry about that. All of our healing right now is about taking responsibility for whatever it is that we're doing. Begin to notice what you're doing. Are you supporting yourself? Are you paying attention? Are you asking questions? Are you noticing when you're confused? Are you feeding yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually? Are we feeling good about the connections we're making with others? About the energy that we're sharing in the world around us? And if we are or aren't, why or why not? What are those negative emotions that seem to be holding on to us? Fear, shame, regret. What is that about, and how can we be more honest with ourselves about that? What are those good emotions that we might be afraid to embrace, to be that vulnerable, to feel bliss? What if that bliss doesn't last? Pay attention. Where's the resistance? And why is it there? Does it need to be there for now? Do we need to just sit with it? Life is an ongoing series of questions, reflections, challenges, victories, and losses. As we begin to learn to navigate these things in a new and different way, we're going to create an experience that's much different than the one we've ever had. And that's what life is truly about. I hope you'll slow down today. Just begin to notice, moment by moment, what's going on. How are you feeling? How are you taking care of yourself? Are you on that list of important things to take care of? I wish you all the blessings and a wonderful rest of your weekend. Namaste.